This is the story of how the stars fell into the sky, a Navajo legend. When the pulse of the first day carried it to the rim of night, first woman said to first man, "The people need to know the laws. To help them, we must write the laws for all to see." And there they are, first woman and first man. "Write them in the sand," he told her, "but the wind will blow them away," she answered. "Write them on the water then," he said, and turned to go, having more important matters on his mind. "But they will disappear the moment I write them on the water," she called out. And there's the water. First man turned back impatiently and looked at her squatting there on the rim of night, a blanket of stars at her feet. "Why don't you write them in the sky?" he said. "Take your jewels there and write them in the sky." There's all of her stars on her blanket. Her many jewels were stars. And so she began, slowly, first one and then the next, placing her star jewels across the dome of night, carefully designing a pattern so that all could read. But first woman was not alone. Behind a low tree, Coyote crouched, watching her as she crafted her careful mosaic on the blackberry cloth of night, and he crept closer. There's Coyote, creeping up on her. "What are you doing?" he called to her in a voice that sounded like the whine of an arrow whistling in the wind. "Why are you tacking up the night sky with your jewels?" "Oh," she answered, deliberately shifting a star from here to there, "I'm writing the laws so that all the people can read them, so there will be no confusion, and we can always see the laws." There's Coyote and there's first woman. Her hands glowed from the warmth of the stars that she was touching, and she smiled as she toiled. "May I help you?" Coyote asked. First woman nodded. "Begin here," she said, and she handed him a star. Coyote hung the star and stepped back to look, and then he hung another and another. But for each star he hung, first woman's blanket held 1,000 more. "This is really slow work," he grumbled. "Writing the laws could take many moons," she said, and she began humming to herself. "Why can't we just find a faster way to get this done?" Coyote asked. "Why finish?" she answered. "What is there to do next that's half so important as writing the laws in the sky with stars?" And there they are, writing the laws. And there's all of her stars. The people will see these laws before they can enter their houses at night. The young mother will sing of the laws to her child. The lonely warrior crouching in an unknown country will look up and be warmed by them. Writing the laws is what I do each night and what I must do for the rest of my life. But Coyote lacked first woman's patience. He loved best to see things finished. Here's the picture of all of the people's houses, and here's the young mother singing songs of the laws to her child, and there's the warrior, and there's first woman and Coyote putting the stars in the sky to write the laws. Impatiently, Coyote gathered 2 corners of the woman's blanket, and before she could stop him, he swung the remaining stars out into the night, spilling them into wild disarray and shattering first woman's careful patterns. He just threw the stars all into the sky. first woman leaned far into the night and watched the tumbling stars. "What have you done, you foolish animal?" she shrieked at Coyote. He crept away as first woman wept, because there was no undoing what Coyote had done. She's sad because the stars are all over the sky. As the pulse of the second day brought it into being, the people rose and went about their lives, never knowing what foolish haste Coyote had tumbled the stars, never knowing the reason for the confusion that would sometimes be among them. And the people never knew. But they did know the stars filled the sky at night, and they were beautiful. And you're beautiful. Good night.